Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video on Python for ethical hackers. In this video, we'll look at how to handle the user inputs properly. So if you are following along our course, you might know that we have written this golden code which just receives the input for an interface and MAC address and then directly execute it with the ifconfig using the subprocess.call function. So this code is working pretty fine, but the problem in it is that the user inputs are not properly handled. And what do I mean by this? Let's try it practically. If I come over to this another terminal and then try to run python example.py, so it will ask for an interface, and I can provide the interface as ETH0 and the MAC address as 0011224477 and 88. And if I do this, it will change the MAC address and everything is okay. But if I run the program again and come over to the interface and try to run the ETH0, ls and then put a semicolon and then add anything for the MAC address, you can see that it did something completely different. And let's examine what it did. So what it did was it came to this first. So once we enter the value for the interface, it came to this first function, which is subprocess.call ifconfig, and it ran it till the ETH0, and then it sees the semicolon. So it ends this statement right over here, which is it shows the ifconfig for or the details for the ETH0. What happened right over here? Let's examine or let's evaluate what happened. So once we enter the ETH0 once we enter the value ETH0 semicolon ls for the ETH0, what it did was it ended this first command, the ifconfig interface, with this semicolon. So it showed us the ifconfig details for the ETH0, and then it executed the ls command. Now this is very dangerous. Not in our case, because we are just running a simple script with just change a MAC address. But later on, when we are building some complex programs and some secure programs, so it's better to make our program or secure from the start and handle the inputs properly. So once again, the main problem is that a user can execute any command using these inputs which are required for the interface and the MAC address. So this is the main problem, and this is the main objective for us in this program. So if you remember from last few videos, we have seen these subprocess docs, and we did use this overload. Let's scroll a bit up. So we did use this overload of the subprocess call. Now in this video, in order to sort out our problem and handle the inputs properly, we will use this overload of the subprocess. So let's come over to the terminal and let's comment down these statements. Once these statements get commented, let's write subprocess.call, and inside this we'll provide a list. So in the previous one we did provide the string, which was this second overload of the subprocess. In the first one, we need to provide it with a list, and the list item would be like the ifconfig would be the first list item, and the interface would be the second list item, and the third one would be the down item. So how can we do that? We can do that just by writing ifconfig, providing it as the first list item to the list to the subprocess.call function, and the next item would be the interface. So we don't need the single quotes or double quotes with the interface because interface is a variable, and variable don't need any quotes. If we are willing to provide it with a string, so then we will enclose it in either in single quotes or double quotes. Now the third list item would be down, and you would say, how can I examine or how can I determine where to add another item? So wherever the space comes in, like after ifconfig we do have space. So wherever the space comes, that ends the first element and the next element starts from there. So after ifconfig you can see that we have space. After the interface we do have space. So these are all three different list items. So now we are done with the first command. Now let's write the second one. That would be subprocess.call, and again we will provide it with the list. In the list, the first item would be ifconfig, similar to the first one, and then the next one would be interface. And now here it would be a little different, because the third element would be the HW, and the fourth element would be Ether, and after Ether we will provide the MAC address that we want to change the previous MAC address to, and that's it. So the next command would be subprocess.call, and to the list we will provide ifconfig. Ifconfig interface would be the second element, and then up would be the third element. And now in the last it would be subprocess.call, ifconfig, and it would be interface. So I'll save the program, come back to the terminal, run the example.py. It would be Python example.py, and for the interface I will provide eth0, press enter, and it would be 001122334455 and 444. So everything is working perfectly, not fine. We do have an error in it, and let's come back. So we are facing this problem right over here, and it's because if I go to the example.py, we do need to provide it with a list, and we didn't specify the square brackets. That's why it's giving us an error. And if I provide it with these square brackets, you will see that everything will work fine. So let's check the eth0 001122334455. Press enter, and you can see that everything works fine. The MAC address got changed. Now let's check it with the another condition that was once we provide the second command, does it gives us an error or not, or it just execute everything perfectly fine. So let's do that. I will provide it with eth0 semicolon ls semicolon, and press enter and provide anything for the MAC address. So you can see that it doesn't execute the ls command, as you can see that it was doing previously when the inputs were not being properly handled. So you can see the difference. When for the first time I did entered these two commands, which was eth0 and ls, so it ran the eth0 for ifconfig. It ran the eth0 with the ifconfig and ended the statement, and then ran the ls showing us all of the files and everything, and then the user would have been able to hack our system. Or suppose if we were using this thing in our website, so they would have able to know all of our directories and files. So, but in this case it just provides us an error which can be handled easily and not provide the user with the information they can hack our system with. So now our program is much more secure. Let's go through the program once more. So what we did was, in the first program, or in the first few videos, we used the subprocess.call, this overload of the function, and now in this video we are using this subprocess.call function with this overload, which receives a list and the list item is the commands we are willing to provide it. So whenever space comes in, wherever the space comes in, we break there the command and start another list item from there. Like suppose for the first time we were providing everything in one long string, and now we are providing everything one at a time, like one single element of the list. So this is pretty much it for this video. I hope you did learn everything what I wanted to show you. You can just come over to the subprocess.call documentation and read all about it. You will get everything, like we are using this overload. All of the explanation of this is written over here. Also some other examples are written over here. Also, if you didn't understood anything in the program, because this video was pretty simple and pretty short, so that's why I didn't went into very great details. We have already discussed this subprocess, but in this video we just use another overload of the function. If you don't know what lists are, I will create another video, a detailed one on list. That video is coming up, so stay tuned. But right now, just consider the list having different elements which can be accessed with the indexes and stuff like that. So I'll create a very detailed video on this list and everything. But right now, just understand that we have more secure user inputs which are handled properly. So have a pleasant day. I will see you in the next video. Till next time, enjoy hacking. Peace out. Also stay cheeky breeky.